what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today's video, I'll be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to deal with the brand new boss KHUN EDAHN. But before I get started on the video, make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe, and also turn that post notification bell so that you guys can always stay tuned as to when I post new videos. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're new here on the channel, I created a brand new Discord server, so if you guys have any questions, you can join the server by going to my channel description, and the server link will be there. And I'll also post the server link in the comment section down below. But anyways, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the video. So if you guys don't know, there's a brand new boss, and he's basically KHUN EDAHN. So the way that you unlock this brand new boss is that you have to complete the main story. So as you guys can see, I complete the main story. You have to complete the main story, and once you complete the main story, this gateway is going to open, and you'll be able to fight KHUN EDAHN. And you'll also be able to have access to him through mock battle facility. As you can see, it says EDAHN's audience chamber. You click it, and it's basically KHUN EDAHN boss. Now this boss is actually hard. To be honest, this has to be one of the hardest bosses in the game. I thought EDAHN was hard. This guy's a problem. So before I even show you guys teams on how to deal with him, first let's read his kit. So for his passive, EDAHN causes a lightning strike whenever the final attack in his basic attack sequence lands on the target, creating a spear barrier mark that lasts 20 seconds, dealing 100% damage and decreasing the target's defense by 10%. One mark paralyzes the target for 2 seconds when it is created. 2 marks paralyze the target for 3 seconds and deal an additional 10% of the target's max HP as damage. 3 marks paralyze the target for 3 seconds and deal an additional 20% of the target's max HP as damage. So his passive is basically he basically has different stacks to his mark. That's basically what it is, and he just does more damage depending on like your max HP. And for his first active, impenetrable domain. Now for his first active, the reason why he is so difficult is because of his first active. You literally cannot use any projectile units against EDAHN because of his first actives. So EDAHN creates an impenetrable domain for 20 seconds. The impenetrable domain blocks projectiles fired from outside the domain and releases an electric current that deals damage equal to 700% of his attack to enemies that attack. So if you guys want to use Evan, or you want to use Gia as a healer, it's not going to work. Evan will only be able to proc his immortality one time, and then he's going to die instantly because Evan is a projectile unit. He's going to throw attacks at EDAHN, and then EDAHN is going to counter him back and just instantly one-shot Evan. So Evan can only use his immortality one time. I feel like the only way you can really counter impenetrable domain is by using Evan's immortality right before the he's about to one-shot Evan, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So yeah, you really can't use Evan or Gia against him. It's just not possible. He becomes immune to status effects and defense decrease, and his swiftness increased by 10 while impenetrable domain is active. And for his second active, EDAHN becomes immune to status effects and teleports to the enemy with the lowest current HP. He then strikes downward with lightning to deal 400% of his attack as damage and paralyzes them for 6 seconds, then returns to his original position. He then increases his swiftness by 30 for 10 seconds. And for his special move, this is like the biggest problem, his special move. He becomes invincible and throws the Montana Azul, hitting the enemy with the lowest current HP to deal 30% of that enemy's max HP as damage and stunning them for 3 seconds. The skill always lands if the target is paralyzed, and targets are killed instantly when they receive fatal damage. Any enemy skill that activates when fatal damage is taken for the first time is nullified. The spear remains stuck to the ground for 3 seconds, releasing sparks to deal 200% damage every second to nearby enemies. So reading his kit, it seems like using Evan is not going to work. It's pretty obvious. And you're basically going to you have to use units that are going to be in his face. Like, you're going to need to use units that do melee and they don't use projectile attacks. So the team that I've been using, so I've been using Vespa because Vespa has constant damage immunity, because he has constant damage in his kit for his special skill. When he lands his spear, he'll deal like constant damage over time. I use Kaseya because Kaseya does that bleed, and Hwarun is really good against him because she provides that shield, and Data Mashini, she's pretty solid. I'll tell you guys why I use Data Mashini, and Hats is really good against him in terms of like survivability. So honestly, best teams that you want to use for this guy, of course, I tried this team out. Now the reason why I put Data Mashini in this team is because if you guys basically read his kit, he'll basically attack the unit who has the lowest HP. So you want to make sure that your Data Mashini, you want to make sure that your tank unit who's able to take a lot of damage, you want to make sure that your tank unit is able to take a lot of damage. And as you guys can see, Data Mashini has the lowest HP. She has 603,000, and everybody else, Hwarun's HP 748k, Vespa's HP 710k, Kaseya's HP is a little bit higher than Data Mashini's. So you want to make sure that you use Data Mashini because Data Mashini has the lowest HP and she's able to take a lot of damage. So the fact that, you know, she has the lowest HP, KHUN EDAHN is basically going to target her first and he's going to attack her, and she won't immediately die, because if I don't use Data Mashini and I use Kaseya, she's gonna die immediately. So you want to use a tank unit that has low HP but that's able to take a lot of damage. So another unit that's actually pretty good against KHUN EDAHN, you guys will be surprised, is actually my boy Rack. Rack is actually pretty good against KHUN EDAHN, and the reason why Rack is really good is because Rack is able to provide that AoE healing and he doesn't do projectile damage. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in real quick and show you guys a quick little run. And the buff that you guys want to pick is physical resistance. I feel like magic and physical resistance is almost the same thing, but I just feel like physical resistance is better because you can do more damage. So we're going to go ahead and pick physical resistance. And I'm basically going to show you guys different teams, and you want to make sure that your Hwarun is always proccing that shield, because if she doesn't, you're gonna die. So as you guys can see, Data Mashini is stunned and he immediately targeted her because she has the lowest HP. So Hat's survivability is really good. Now Data Mashini, she's still gonna die, which sucks, and Kaseya is not able to take down EDAHN's barrier. So the reason why I have Kaseya in this team is because Kaseya has constant damage over time. Now I don't know if EDAHN is able to counter that, I don't know, but as you guys can see, he's taking a lot of damage from that damage over time. So he's continuously targeting Data Mashini, but the biggest problem with Vespa is that Vespa, she slows him down so much. So like literally this guy is just so hard to go against. I feel like the only way you can really get high damage against him is by limit breaking your characters and rainbowing your units. Like Hats, the reason why Hats is really good against him is because Hats has good survivability. He's able to heal himself. So I want to show you guys another team which includes not Karaka, but Rack. But Karaka's also pretty good against EDAHN because Karaka's survivability is really good. I feel like for EDAHN you have to use a triple tank team. So we're gonna take out Vespa, we're gonna put in Data Zahar. Data Zahar is also good. So the lowest okay, so he has 716k and Data Zahar has 657k. So Kaseya is going to die first because she has the lowest HP, and I'll show you guys why. This is why you want to use a tank unit that has the lowest HP, which is Data Mashini. Because if you don't have a tank unit that has low HP, then that tank unit is just going to die immediately. So watch, he's going to immediately target Kaseya and she's going to die. Because she has the lowest HP out of everybody on my team. As you can see, boom, Kaseya died. So you want to make sure that your tank unit has the lowest HP so that your other teammates can survive. So we're going to take out Kaseya and we're going to put in Karaka. Because I feel like Karaka, his survivability against EDAHN is actually pretty decent. So let's go ahead and test and see. And I'll show you guys why Rack is a really good unit against EDAHN, because Rack provides that AoE healing. So these are basically the teams that you want to use, but as you guys can see, I can't do that much damage because I'm not able to, you know, limit break them by a lot. But the only way you can deal a lot of damage to KHUN EDAHN is by basically getting a lot of copies of these characters. That's like the only way. So as you can see, our survivability is actually not that bad. I think we're able to bring him up to at least tier 7 or tier 8. I don't know. And you want to immediately cast Warren's shield so that nobody dies. And another thing that you guys need to know is that EDAHN is able to counter revive. So do not use Wingnan. Wingnan is going to immediately die against KHUN. KHUN EDAHN. So I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to take out Karaka and we're going to put in Wingnan. I'm basically showing you guys how this boss works in different ways how to counter him. You basically want to use either a triple tank team that includes Warren and Hats, or you want to use Data Mashni because she has the lowest HP, and then you want to use another unit that's able to do some good damage. As you can see, Wingnan immediately died because he has the lowest HP, and on top of that, he does projectile damage. So what you want to do against this guy is basically don't use units that do projectile. Like don't use Evan, because Evan is gonna die. I'm gonna go ahead and put Evan in so I can show you guys. Because Evan does projectile, he throws his attacks, he does long range attacks, so he's gonna get immediately wiped out. You'll be able to land one immortality proc, but it's just not gonna be enough. So as you can see, Evan got targeted immediately because I think Evan has the lowest HP. Yeah, Evan has the lowest HP. So you basically want to use a unit that's able to have lower HP than Evan. So let's go and see Evan's low HP. He has 676,000. So we're going to go ahead and remove Datazard and put in Data Mashni, and he's going to target Data Mashni instead of Evan. So as you can see, he didn't target Evan, he only targeted Data Mashni. So you see Data Mashni is stunned right there, and you'll be able to land that immortality. Now we're gonna save that immortality because Evan is gonna get one-shotted because he's throwing projectile attacks. But now we're gonna land it. But even though I land that immortality, that's still not enough to save Evan. After the special skill is over, he's gonna get one-shotted. As you can see, Evan immediately died. So there's really no way for you to use healers against EDAHN. The only healer that's actually pretty good against EDAHN is Rack, because Rack has that AoE healing and he doesn't do projectile attacks. So you're gonna have to either use Rack or Data Mashni to counter this guy. Like those are like the only two units I can think of. I mean, Warren is really good against him because she has that, you know, barrier, and of course Hats as well. But I feel like these two are really important because Rack has that AoE healing and Data Mashni has the lowest HP in terms of being like a tank unit. So that's basically how you want to counter KHUN EDAHN. My damage against him is really not that good because, like I said, in order for you to do good damage against this guy, let me show you guys. I'm going to show you guys other players that went against him and look at their characters. Like look at their limit breaks. So you guys shouldn't really worry about, you know, how much damage you're able to do, because it's just not possible to do high damage against him when you don't have your units rainbow. So as you guys can see, these are rainbow units. And as you can see, he's using Karaka because Karaka is actually a pretty good tank against him. So you have to have, you know, you have to invest a lot into your characters in order for you to do good damage against KHUN EDAHN. So don't really worry about your damage. Try to worry about, you know, survivability instead, because, you know, as a free-to-play player, I understand. Like it's really like these bosses are really not that easy to fight against, and I feel like KHUN EDAHN is by far the hardest boss in the game, hands down, because he basically limits you. Like you literally can't use a healer against him, you can't use projectile units against him, he counters revive. So this guy, he's really hard. So like I said, the teams that you guys really want to use is of course Warren and Hats. These two together are really good against him because their survivability is awesome. You want to use Data Mashni as well because Data Mashni has the lowest HP. As you can see, she has 615k HP. That's pretty much low, and her survivability is pretty good. And you want to use Rack because Rack has that AoE healing. So I'm going to go ahead and do a run real quick. We're going to take out Evan, and we should probably put in Kaseya, or we should probably put in Wait, what other team was I using? I was using Vespa. Yeah, I was using Vespa, Kaseya, Datamashi, Haru, and Iwa. The reason why I'm using Vespa is because Vespa has constant damage immunity, so they're not going to take a lot of damage against his special skill. That's the reason why I'm using her. But I feel like you shouldn't really use Vespa's skill that much because she's going to slow down EDAHN, and EDAHN is basically going to waste her time. So let's go ahead and see what we could do. I feel like the best we can do is reach to like tier 9. That's like the best we can do, and honestly that's not pretty bad. Alright, so our goal is we want to reach to at least tier 9. That's what we want to reach. So as you can see, he targeted my Datamashi because she has the lowest HP. Come on, Warren, use your skill. Thank you. And as you can see, he has that bleed. Kaseya was able to put that bleed on him, so that's why I use Kaseya, because she has the bleed. Even if Kaseya dies, the bleed is still on him. You see that red line on EDAHN? That's basically the bleed. So that's exactly why I use Kaseya against him, because of the bleed. So as you can see, it takes him a long time to land that spear because of Vespa. And we have that constant damage immunity, so we're not going to take that much damage. But if we're able to at least reach tier 9, I'll take it. But as you can see, the last 2 remaining characters are of course Hwarun and Hats. If we can reach tier 9, not even tier 9, but tier 8, I'll take it. So Hwarun died, which was unfortunate, but if Hats can actually reach us to tier 8, that would be pretty good. Okay, we reached tier 8. So we did around like 450k damage. That's not bad. I'll actually take it. That's honestly the best I can do. And we're dead. So that's basically how you want to fight KHUN EDAHN. Like I said, don't really worry too much about, you know, damage, because as you can see, I did like 451k damage and I'm already in like the top 49%, so not a lot of people are doing really well against this boss. So don't really worry about your damage, and let's go ahead and check the stats. As you can see, Hat's doing the most damage. Hwarun, she's, you know, providing that shield. Kaseya, the reason why I use Kaseya is because she's able to inflict that bleed on KHUN EDAHN, so she can do a lot of damage. And you know, we're using Datamashi because she has the lowest HP, so that he won't target Kaseya, and Vespa has the constant damage immunity. So this is honestly like the best team I have so far for him. Like I said, you can use Rack as well if you want to heal your group, but so far I'm sticking with this team because Hats is able to do pretty good damage against him, and our survivability is actually not that bad. All it comes down to is whether or not your characters are like high leveled and you have a lot of, you know, limit break on your characters. But that's pretty much it. Put your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think? Do you guys think like this is the hardest boss in the game? At first I thought it was Datamashi, but the fact that they released Kaseya, she's able to counter him, I think KHUN EDAHN is by far the hardest one, because he restricts healing. He restricts you from using healers, because every healer in the game is every healer so far does projectile attacks, and he restricts you from using characters such as Wangnan, because Wangnan has that self revive. So yeah, man, this boss is actually pretty hard. But anyways, I'll be leaving the video at that. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe, and also I hope you all stay safe, stay hydrated, and I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.